Welcome back to the News Hub here at WSJ Live. I'm Simon Constable. Big question, how good is the new Porsche 911 Carrera S? We're going to tell you all about that. But first, we got some money talk to do with regard to the government. And apparently, the forecast deficit for 2012 will be $1.33 trillion. That's with a T. And we got Damian Paletta joining us now from the Wall Street Journal in Washington, D.C. to tell us about this. We had him on Digits earlier to give us this huge news. That's a lot of money, dude.
I know, it's kind of amazing. You know, last year the Obama White House projected that this would be the first year, in 3 or 4 years where we'd be under $1 trillion deficit, but it looks like that's just not going to be the case. Spending is still pretty elevated as they're trying to get the economy some momentum, and the tax revenue really hasn't caught up to where they wanted it to be. So that leaves us with this $1.3 trillion gap, which is actually, if it holds out, is going to be actually larger than the deficit last year.
All right, Damian, I'm going to put on my tinfoil hat again and come up with my crazy theory, and I want you to respond to it. But,
okay.
Look, President Obama has been caught in these games with Republicans in Congress where he's been viewed by his own party as negotiating from the center and having to move way to the right. Is this a case where he has learned his lesson? Because this is a budget proposal that projects his deficit. Is he working from maybe a greater position on the left and hoping to meet Congress somewhere in the middle?
That's a great way to sort of look at this. This is probably his first budget that you're not going to see a brand new budget proposal to reduce the deficit. It's really a lot of the ideas he had last year packaged into a new document. So he's not offering the Republicans something new to attack. He's going to say, you guys know where I stand. You know what the ideas that I think will move this country forward. Here they are. They're the same as last year. And, let's kind of duke it out. And so, we're talking about tax increases on the wealthy, limited spending cuts, a little bit kind of a leaner military, and targeted investments where he thinks the economy needs a little shot in the shoulder. So that's exactly what he's doing. He's not going to give the Republicans something new to attack. He's going to sort of offer them priorities that he's already laid out.
Yeah, and to David's point, I mean, it does seem to be more of the same. Infrastructure spending, which could be viewed as stimulus. I know that's a bit of a red rag to a bull to some in Congress, but I mean, does this just look like the old tax and spend Democrats, or is there something different going on here?
Well, we're definitely going to see the president take the principles of this package out on the campaign trail. I mean, this is very much the way they're going to pitch it as a middle-class focused budget proposal. A lot of taxes on the upper income, $1.5 trillion in taxes over 10 years, but no new tax increases on families that earn less than $250,000, and a lot of middle-class programs that are supposed to, create new jobs. So this is something they're going to take on the campaign trail. It contrasts sharply with the things we're hearing out of the Republican presidential candidates as far as the taxes and that sort of thing. So he's going to take this on the campaign trail, and we're really going to see a sharp contrast between he and his competitor.
Damian, if this is the starting point, doesn't it look like we're going to have a long, protracted budget fight this year?
Yeah, absolutely. And, the thing that everyone's watching really is the lame duck session after the election, because that's when all these, trains are going to collide. You have the Bush tax cuts expiring. You have the, the automatic spending cuts that go into effect, $1.2 trillion, including a huge cut to the military spending. The payroll tax cut, if they extend it, will expire at the end of the year. There's all these things that are going to be expiring. The debt ceiling is going to be coming up. So really, this is his way of saying, this is the vision I have for the country. Let's contrast it with the Republican vision. Let the voters decide in November, and then we'll kind of have this big, mess in December as they try to sort everything out.
Okay. And Damian, if there is a protracted budget fight that goes on, does that do damage to Congress's, basically credibility in general with the American public, and we get back to the situation where the public hates everyone who's in office, regardless of party?
I mean, they pretty much have zero credibility right now, so there's not much they can do to hurt the credibility. The thing we have to watch, though, is this whole payroll tax fight that's supposed to, be settled at the end of this month. If they really, everyone goes back to their corners and kind of wants to take their ball and go home, and they can't reach a deal on that, that could actually be pretty bad for the economy, I imagine, if everyone's taxes go up in the middle of this recovery.
Right.
Okay. Thank you very much, Damian Paletta. Really appreciate your time today explaining, bringing clarity where there was fog out in the budget proposal there from Washington, D.C. Check that out on WSJ.com.